Morning, folks. It's the bro here, and you know it's time to start the show. We've got to go to the place where the stocks move. It's the daily up and down. Yeah, how are you folks doing here for your daily up and down in the stock market? When it comes to Magic stocks and Magic Talks, don't worry. There's a lot of other versions of this show out there. You may see a reasonable facsimile brought to you by UPipe, the other online competitor to YouTube. But accept no cheesy substitutes. If you want the real facts up until the minute, you've got to stick with the bro, the D, and the amazing fans of Magic the Gathering who love the game as much as we do. Thanks for joining us February 16th. Today is earnings day in the Hasbro stock world. I'm so happy to have you folks here on the show today. Let me just dust my eyes off. Dust my eyes. Deceive me. Brody's here. Will Hasbro stock go lower by tomorrow? There's the question for you. Today, the earnings report comes out. So everybody's sitting on bended knee. Brody has a little bit of coffee in his cup here this morning. Brody's going to do the show here with you folks today. We'll get some votes in. We're looking for news to see anything happens. It's going to be some news in the news today. That's where the news goes. Hasbro to make Savannah edition of classic board game? The city of Savannah will be featured on an all best-selling commercial board game in Monopoly. So their city of Savannah is getting their own Monopoly game, and the stock price and the earnings preview. Oh, bazinga. We got a bazinga. We got something to show you folks here today. That's kind of cool. Free report. Hasbro is set to give his latest quarterly earnings report on Thursday the 16th. This is what investors need to know before the announcement. Analysis estimate that Hasbro's earnings will report an earnings per share of $1.29. Hasbro bulls will hope to hear the company announce they've not only beaten that estimate, but also to provide positive guidance and forecasted growth for the next quarter. New investors should note that sometimes not an earnings beat or miss that most affects the price of a stock, but the guidance or forecast. So, past earnings performance, the last quarter of the company missed EPS by 23 cents, expected earnings. They missed it last time by 23 cents, which was followed by a 1.4% drop in the share price the next day. We're taking a look at Hasbro's performance and the resulting price change. Let's do it. Welcome to the Stock Desk. It's Brody. We got a couple of little things to look at here. So here's the quarters from last year. A little bit of news article for you. So quarter. Let's get my really epic pen out here this morning because that's the best way to do that. So quarter 3 of 2022, and we're waiting for the quarter 4 expected earnings estimate 165, and the actual was 42. So they missed it by 29 cents last time. What did they say here? 20 something cents, 26 cents, 23 cents. Yeah, $1.29. Missed it by a little bit there. So shares of Hasbro were trading at $58.11 as of February 14th. Over the last 52-week period, shares are down 42%. And given that these returns are generally negative, long-term shareholders are likely unhappy going into this earnings release. So there's already a little bit of chatter in the world. Little bit of speculation. Do you think the price is going to be higher or lower tomorrow? And I guess it comes down to the earnings report and if the earnings are favorable. Now, a good way to change your earnings is to make cuts. Maybe the cuts that happen here in the last little bit are a way of getting your spending under control. It could be. How are you folks doing today? So today's a big date. We're waiting for news in the world of Hasbro stock. It should be out today. What time? Well, it could be any time. Could be any time, but we've staked our claim on this hill here, folks, and this is the show where we bring it all together. It's not your daily up and down. It's not your daily in and out. It's the stocks and talks here with Brody. And this is the show where we bring it all together for you folks. So we've been staking our claim on this hill. We're not going anywhere. No, we're not moving. We're sitting here. We're waiting for something to happen. This indecision's killing me. You know, I think there was a song lyric that said that it's just not knowing what's going to happen is starts to get on a person's nerves. You know, I know it does for me. So a wise man once said one of the best things to do in a uncertain market is nothing, and that's just what we're doing. We are staked out on this hill. We're waiting. Mustache hair. We're waiting on this hill. We're going to see what the price of Hasbro stock does, how that affects the local game stores, the one near you, and what products they're moving, and how that affects sales over the next first quarter of 2023. And then we're going to see if that makes any changes. Right now, I can tell you I'm monitoring the tweet machine very closely, and you'll be happy to know that the namely names over at Wizards of the Coast are currently discussing the Masticore, the original printing of Masticore, like, you know, the lore of that old card Masticore with the tail and how cool it is. The watermark on the back of the Magic card, that's a big concern. And it's bugged them since the very first day that the Magic card back was previewed. So those are the issues that the Mucky Mucks and the Uppy Ups over at Wizards of the Coast are concerning themselves with publicly. This is the things that that they're working on. I don't know how that affects the long-term reparations that we might need to see happen in product releases, but nevertheless, I digress. If you guys haven't ordered your MTG 30 Beanie Babies, you can we'll put a link in the description below. MTG 30 Beanie Babies. Let's take a look at the price of Hasbro stock. All right, let's see here. $58.38. I should write this down because, like, it's definitely a number to remember. Today's a Thursday, so that means we got one more trading day. See, this is the other thing. Part of doing the daily morning show. You got to get up pretty early in the morning to catch one over on old bro. And like by the time you folks get here and you start your day and you check the stock desk and you check the movers and the shakers and you know, see what's going on in the world of Magic, you already got a pretty good idea, pretty handle on, you know, if anything significant has happened because you're tuning in. I'll tell you, just earmark this, folks. Everybody tune in between today and tomorrow because it's going to take a full trading day. Okay, today is going to be the very first full trading day after the earnings report comes out. This is like getting front row seats to the Indy 500, but you got to camp out like a month ahead of time, right? You got to like camp out and wait for this day. And then like you're right at the front. You're like, hey, here we are. Everybody's here. Cool. How long you been waiting? A couple of months. Oh, they're crazy, right? So we're literally been watching this stock go east to west for the last couple of months. It's banged around and clanged its head off a few numbers, and let's go over that here for you folks today. For those of you who caught the short yesterday, Any- Thanks for, I appreciate you folks for checking that out. Here's a couple of Mother of Ruins jokes and Mother of Machines. If you like Mother of Machines and Mother of Ruins, I suggest you check out the short. So here's this key resistance level that we were talking about, and there's another short out yesterday, a little pre-earnings pre-release primer, so that you get you folks up to date what we're going to be talking about. We're looking at this number here, and I guess basically what we discussed yesterday is and don't get me wrong, this could be like a Y2K scenario all over again. It could be nothing. It could be nothing. We could totally get a Y2K scenario where nothing happens. All right, totally expect that. All right, that is totally and within the realm of possibilities, so keep that in mind. But we're looking back, and if you catch the short, the pre-release, the Hasbro earnings report pre-release primer, where we proxy all the latest news and information for you and give it a gold border and give it a shiny front and a new back. We were talking about like what it must have been like to be working at Hasbro, around sort of this time, this 2011, right? This run up from like the $20 share price to the $50 share price must have been something. Like there was some high fives and everybody was like cool guy at parties and like, yeah, wine and cheeser. And you do, wow, my husband, he works at Hasbro. Oh, I'm like, oh no, she works at, I guess that, this is very bullish. Okay, but like this $50 level where we are at now, like they could have only dreamed to achieve this. So like the company as a whole has achieved so much. And like look at this. This is like a lumpy overhead sort of a overshot. So if you look at that, that looks pretty interesting. So I do know what I do have some sense of like panic. But if you look at like this period here, so we got like a 2-year period from this ATH or see, here's another thing. Do you know why they call them brokers? Because they make you broker. They use funny words like all ATH or all-time high, right? So coming off this all-time high right here of 120 bucks, let's say. This time period here, this is where we're at, right? And like we're all just spirits in human form enjoying this world together. And I'm glad you found a way to get Brody to drag it with you for the day, wherever you got me, on the dash of the car, dragging behind the. Did you leave me on the? Don't leave Brody on the roof of the car when you're getting in with your coffee. Like bring me along with you wherever you're going. I hope to see you when you catch this all time high at $120 here. So like this here, this would be scary. Like this ride down, this is like to to be part of this overhead and this ride down over here. I think would be really something. This period here, this run up from 2012 to 2022, like this 10-year period, it can't go on forever. Like this thing just can't keep going, can it? Like what would it have to take to push this thing back here, right? So anybody who's like hired and like part of the new wave and the new design team who was sort of in this area has like they have not been able to extend this performance any longer. It's sort of like a near impossibility to keep this going, wouldn't you say? So like you got to check the comments. How you doing? Benson's here. Arliss is here. Cosmic Seeds. Stefan. Yes, it will. Stefan says it'll go lower. Benson says he's got me. He's got me in the palm of his hand. Brody's eating out of the palm of your hand this morning. Correct. Current R&D sucks in WotC. We're just making sure I catch up with the comments here. Let's make sure we dig up a couple of comments for you folks. Let's get this thing running right today. It's going to be okay. So yeah, like I was saying, if you were part of the Hasbro team for that 10 years during this solid run up, it would be quite something because you would have seen this all-time high. It would have been quite exciting. People would have been getting pretty good paychecks at that point in time, I'm sure. Bonuses would have definitely been on the table. I mean, I gotta imagine that all those things would have been part of the equation. Good morning. Speaking of bonuses, Prime 406 is here for the daily up and down, the daily high low, the daily morning show, the daily stocks and talks. And this show rocks. Thanks for joining. Benson's in the house. Stefan's here. We got all the folks. We're looking at this chart and we're like talking about like this $58 number that is we're sort of at right now. How you folks doing today? Let me just rebuy into this article that I was looking at just a minute ago, and it's a good one. Hasbro's making a Savannah edition board game of the classic Monopoly, and Bazinga's giving us a little bit of an earnings shout out if you're just tuning in. So last year the company missed its EPS by 23 cents, expected profits by 23 cents per share, which was followed by a 1.4% drop in the share price the next day. So last year, when they missed their expected earnings performance by 23 cents, it was followed by a 1.4% drop in the share price the next day. Hasbro's past performance and the resulting price change. So the last time they missed their earnings, the stock dropped $1 or 1.4%. So that would be actually $5. And maybe over $5 at this current at this over $5 at this current price point. So we got that's the third quarter. So today the fourth quarter earnings are coming out, and any time between now when you folks are watching and the morning show tomorrow, there's going to be a move in this price. I'm thinking it's going to be lower tomorrow. Last time this happened, they missed their earnings by $1.23, according to Bazinga. Their share price went down 1.4%. So if it misses any more, that's $5. So that puts them at around the $53 mark. This would have been what a time to be alive, hey? So this might just be like this might just be like Y2K. This period in time here just can't last forever. It can't go on. So now, what I was saying, we were talking about it, is that let's discuss this. What has to happen once like this doesn't come back? And we'll see if we're going to get a break to the lower side. I am guessing we're going to get a break to the lower side. It's going to break this level of support here, this east-west line where it's been ringing its head a couple of times. It's probably going to travel a little bit lower, and it's going to find a new level of support, and there'll be some price discovery. This is just like spoilers, right? There's going to be some price discovery. People are going to be like, how much is this card worth? Well, it's not out yet. It hasn't been played and meta tested. So, but it's going to be the bomb of the set. So right now we're going to be in a price discovery mode to see, depending on what this earnings report is. And if it could go lower, then we're going to wait to see some, anything can happen or nothing can happen. Could be a hostile takeover. Somebody could show up. My little brother, Rudy, he could show up and he could just buy up all the shares at a discount. That could happen. So it's totally possible. Oh, and then once that interest comes back, I think we're probably gonna. What I would say is you got to fix this. To fix this, you're gonna have to clean house. You're gonna have to do something. You're gonna have to like go back to these levels of like staffing, overhead, and cost. Now, outsourcing, oh man. We already seen it with the beanbag product, so like that's considered like outsourcing your intellectual property. Like nobody at Wizards, there's no Wizards employees making those beanbag chairs, right? They're just outsourced by some like sofa company where you upload your pattern. That you could probably send them any pattern you want and they'll put it on a beanbag for you. For around the $475 mark. It just so happens that, you know, now Wizards is gone and gotten themselves some beanie. But and the next thing, it could be we're waiting for the Beanie Babies special plush toy to come out. I wonder what you guys think. How much lower is the price going to go tomorrow? Is it going to go up? Do we care? No one cares. Brody, no one cares. Let's check the stock test to see if we got anything new to talk about because today's the earnings day, and sometime between now and this time tomorrow, I'm going to have a first sip of coffee, take a minute just to arrive on the show with you folks. Thank you. All are welcome here. Thank you for joining me today. It's Brody. It's February 16th. It's a day even like there's been a lead up to this day. I know I've been talking about it for a long time and everyone's talking about it. Last year, Seeds, let me read some comments here. Going back to sleep for a few hours. I usually wake up 2.5 hours from now. Oh, that's great. I'm glad you could stop in, Stefan. Sweet dreams. Prime is here. Morning, Dennis. Time Capsule, how you doing? Thanks for joining the show today. We're going to get some viewers here to enjoy the show and the morning with us. Good time to get up and have a sip of coffee and just say hey to one another. I'll be up for the show tomorrow as well. Literally 2014 value, the current Hasbro stock. Yeah, right? Like literally they were the same. So we got to do it with me now, folks. Time warp with me. Hey, good morning, folks. It's Brody. It's 2014. It's the morning show. We're here, and Hasbro stock is currently at a strong $47, trending up. Oh, Wizards of the Coast is hiring like crazy. They've got an ad in the local newspaper. Anybody can get a job there who can make fog on a mirror. If you can spell your name and not stick a postage stamp to your forehead and you don't cut yourself at lunchtime, you can get a job at Wizards because currently the price is $52 and it's going to go all the way up to 120. So line up at the door. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street over here, and Leonardo DiCaprio is hiring, right? That's like where we're at, except we're coming back down from all that. Like all the midget tossing and all the like, yeah, I could just imagine that, right? Like, well, that style of an no more midget tossing over at WotC, right? And now we've entered into this whole phase of culture culture shift. Um, how do you catch a falling knife? You don't. You could kind of like maybe just like try and stand under it and grab it like this. You basically just let it hit the ground and let it dangle around and wait till it stops bouncing around and then just walk over and pick it up. That's my advice. Tell me, coach, how do you catch a falling knife? What we're doing is I've got my eye, and this is a show where we're going to tie it all together. I've got my eye on some singles from the reserve list. And don't get me wrong, like I still think the reserve list is like guardrails on the freeway. Without it, you know, game design could just take a plunge into the ditch. Like I'll give you like you know, cards like anti. Like the reserve list does so much for us in regards to game design mechanics that should not perhaps be visited in a lot of ways. But we do have our eyes on some of the cards on the reserve list that, you know, and maybe you do too. And if you do, and you're looking to get some, I'd say between the next 6 months, like I'm convinced the bottom's not in. Like what Brody's doing is like I was huddled up to the fence to watch this circus, right? Not my circus. Watsy's not my circus, not my monkeys, right? But I can watch. I don't even have to buy a ticket, but sometimes I do buy packs of tickets or a booster box. But we're gonna watch and see what's going on, like the boiling pot that's happening over there. It should be pretty interesting. At some point, they're going to have to stop talking about the back of the Magic card and the watermark that bothers them so much. But nevertheless, so let's head over to the stock desk and see what we're talking about. So I've got, this is a show we tie it all together. So what I've been saying, and I've been saying this since before Christmas and since we started doing the show, this earnings report comes out today. So between today's morning show and tomorrow's morning show, some news is going to happen or none. But I would expect if any day there's going to be some news and a move in this stock, it's going to be between today and tomorrow. And we want to see how significant it is. I also want to see what other folks have to say, because then once the earnings report comes out, people are going to look at the numbers. Then there's going to be Bank of America and a bunch of other places that are going to be making writing about it. And then like all the traders are going to be either buying or selling. And those guys are putting their suits on today. What's going on here? In order to sell a little Hasbro stock to be there, or and I'm expecting it to move. So that is going to make for an interesting show as well tomorrow. We can do a follow up on that. And if you've got your eye on some reserve list cards or some singles that you're looking to pick up, this is all going to affect product, which is going to and that this is all like we're talking about cycles, right? Sometimes like certain cycles take a long time to actually come into fruition, right? Certain market cycles. So what happens today is going to affect the game in 2 years from now. And then like you're going to have a period of time between once things correct themselves and the folks over there are done pulling the ladder up behind themselves, and they start putting the game design back together again. And I want to see a couple of bannings from Frexial will be one. I'm predicting it. It's sad to say there's just too much. There's just too much in that set. So if you're looking to pick up a couple of old cards, wait till this pressure hits the big box stores, like the card castles and the Chanel Snowball and all the big inventory holders who are holding inventory on all these older products that you know what they are. They could be dual lands to you. They could be anything that you're looking that we look at here on the the vintage and the movers and shakers list. Those places are going to eventually have to pay their employees, and they're going to have to pay rent, and then they're going to have a super high end sale. I'm thinking it's going to be coming around the fall now. It could happen sooner, but there's a couple of things that we're waiting for to happen. So, like today's date was a big one to get to. Let's just check a couple more. Reserve lists. I'm slapping together a sale. Give me some very bottom reserve list and add it to the cart, and I'll do it right now. I'm slapping together a sale. Give me some very bottom reserve list to add to the cart, and I'll do it right now. You're slapping together a sale? So does it crack $50? Oh, well, the last time the earnings report came out there, Tom Mitchell, good morning. Glad you're here with us this morning. The last time they missed their earnings by 23 cents, it went down 1.4%. So let me just do the math here. Some simple math. 1.4% of 58.38 is $8.17, if my math is correct. So what that means is if they miss their mark as much as they missed it on the last quarter, you should see an $8 drop in price, which is exactly the amount to put it to 50. Does it crack 50? I don't know. Depends if it's worse. Let that sucker fall. I know a guy who tried catching a katana and it fell off his Walmart. Oh no. Oh gosh. Some people have that, like, I think it's called Slim Cast. That Slim Shady guy who's got the sword and the pistol on the wall. Could you imagine one of those fell and somebody tried to get it? I worked in a kitchen for a number of years, right? So that was one of the things, like you'd have your knives on the cutting boards and sort of along the bench, and every once in a while you bump one and one would go for a spill and your gut reaction would be to go and grab it, but like they did, the chefs would like smack you over the back of the head, like, what are you doing? You just let it fall, go get it washed, go wash your knife, sharpen it too, right? uh So we're literally back to 2014 values. Let's time warp back to 2022. All these MTG players are waiting to see Hasbro's earnings report, and they are all will talk about how Nerf gun and Power Ranger toy sales are down. I love it. We got a new article for you folks today. I'm happy to bring it to you folks. Everybody who's tuning in, the coach is here, Stefan is here, Prime is here, Tom is here, Benson's here, Time Capsule's here. We're gonna have a few more Arliss here, and everybody else who wants to join us. We're probably gonna have Michael Superbacker along for the ride, and if MTG Gaming Bob is at work, we miss you, and I hope you can join us here today too. Thanks for all the technical analysis, because if we want some thought-provoking content, we can't do that without MTG Gaming Bob. Nevertheless, we have an article for you folks today from over at the Stop Desk. Let's look at this one. New Horizons Phyrexia all will be Commander. So let's turn our attention just over to the stock desk for a moment, where our friends over there who prepare some delicious treats and some fine oddities for your reading pleasure today. I've got an article here from Matt Grzenchik. Grechnik. It's a tough one. Hey, how do you say it? On this episode, Matt's going to look at a couple of cards shaking up prices with all B1's Commander products. And we're going to have a look at these three cards, including Flawless Maneuver. All right, that's going to be the first one. Clever Concealment. That's going to be number 2. And this card, which has been making a lot of waves, and talk about speculation, this is like the Urtet, Remnant of Memnarch. It's the Mirror Commander. So just like today's earnings report is going to push the stock price and decisions well into the future, today's earning report, I think I see Urtet. You see what this is on the back of his back? This is the Hasbro earnings report right here. He's got it on his back. He's bringing it to us, but like this is affecting things into the future. Look at that. Urtet, he's got the earnings report on his back. He's bringing it in. He'll have it here today. Don't worry. We're all going to have to get a look at it. But just like Urtet is moving the prices of Magic cards well into the future, today's earning report is going to affect the Hasbro stock price from now until the end of the year, which is when the super high-end sales are going to happen on these expensive cards. That's what I'm saying. That's my opinion. Just my opinion. And then we're going to pick up a couple of things on sale. Released as a company product for a Phyrexia All Will Be One, this set has 2 pre-constructed decks, the Rebellion Rising and the Corrupting Influence, that represent a good entry point for players just getting started. Let's have a little sip of coffee. With these prices settling into a comfortable average trend, they're ready to begin climbing back up as more time passes. Initial reaction surrounding the set focused on a return of poison counters and their support cards. Yes, return of poison counters and the support cards and the like is. I gotta do this. It's funny. Is Magic the Gathering now just a 10-point game? Right, that is the question. Well, yes. Will it go lower? How much lower? Is MTG just a 10-point game now? Yes, no. So with the support cards and the corrupted mechanic and a new lease on life with poison counters in the game, the commonly seen Triumph of the Hordes and Tainted Strike. So Triumph of the Hordes, this card until end of turn, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample and infect. What a card. And Tainted Strike, which says target creature gets 1/0 and gains infect until end of turn. However, cards concerning the mechanic are unlikely to be reprinted in the foreseeable future due to how tightly they interact with toxic creatures. So, is Magic the Gathering now just a 10-point game? And how long does that? What does that mean? LOL. Well, if we're just gonna play till 10 with poison counters, why are you going to do 40 damage to somebody? Like, you're playing the wrong game, right? Why don't we just play to 10? Math is wrong. 82 cents. 1% of 58 bucks. I think it's going to be a lot more than that. Let's see here. 58. 1 4. Math is hard, folks. It's not $8.12. It's 8.1 cents. 81 cents. Math is hard. It's early. And I love the show because, like, you got me doing things that I never do. I never run a calculator at this time in the morning, but I should. It's going to get me a little more sharper. So a 10%, 1.14% would be $8. So maybe that's what we're going to need to push it below 50 bucks. We're going to have to see a 14% decrease. That seems a little unlikely. It's not a 10-point game. Give the meta time to adjust. Also, keep in mind that March of the Machine and Aftermath might print cards that remove poison counters. Right. I get it. Damn, it's early and I'm not awake yet, even though I'm at work. I know, right? Coach has got my back. We're doing a little Brody screwing up some simple math for everybody. It's fine. But let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this card. Flawless maneuver. Flawless maneuver says 1 white and 2. If you control a commander, you may cast a spell without paying its mana cost. Any of these alternate casting cost cards, and I'm talking about any alternate casting cost cards, even in foil from Mercadian Masks, have been an example of this. Cave In, Snuff Out, and any of the other ones you guys definitely will be thinking of right now. Any of the alternate casting cost cards from Mercadian Masks, even in foil, are big money. Cards like this also have long-term value because of the free mechanic that's printed on it with Commander. So Flawless Maneuver is a reprint with two purposes. First, the original printing from 2020 has seen a steady increase in price over the last 2 years, settling at $7.65, climbing its way to currently to the $25 mark. The card is crashing in price closer to the $15 to $18 range due to a reprint. The new print has now ironed out the $10 price point after its $22 evaluation. Its printing in the set opens up the possibility of the rest of the cycle of free spells from Commander 2022 to be reprinted. Really? Deadly Rollick, Fierce Guardianship are both universally favorable in the format matching color identity of the commanders. More importantly, the pair is presently climbing up in price at $42.69. Fierce Guardianship and Deadly Rollick are $42 and $69. Wow, that's a lot. Take your eye off a card for a minute, and this is what happens. Considering the release schedule of Commander products and the quantity of reprints, it would surprise me if the rest of the cycle will also see a second print soon. So the Fierce Guardianship seeing $62 and the Deadly Rollick respectively at 42, 69 and 42. Anything with an alternate casting cost seems pretty good, and this Flawless Maneuver in white definitely fits the bill. What do you think? Are we going to see a reprint? No, Magic is not a 10-point game. And finally, Urtet, the Remnant of Memnarch. This is a card that's been making a lot of mirror cards move. That's a lot of M's here this morning. I hope I can make you chuckle here. A lot of mirrors. This guy says whenever you cast a mirror spell, create a 1/1 colorless artifact creature mirror token. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, you get to untap each mirror you control. And then for a Wooburg, tap it, you put 3 1/1 counters on each mirror you control. So this works well with the, is it the Gilded Lotus? I think it is. Yeah. And it's also got all colors in its identity. So the Urtet is perhaps the most impactful card from the set that will have to go with Urtet, the Remnant Memnarch. Not available in either of the two decks. This is only accessible through set and collector boosters. Currently priced at $10 to $20 depending on the print. It's decreased from its initial price point of $38. Multiple factors were responsible for inflating the price of this card, starting with the accessibility due to not being mass printed in the actual decks due to the color identity restriction in the format. From there, we also need to consider that the mirror creature type has been underrepresented in Commander. However, since the preview, the card has seen a sharp decrease in overall price, which will continue to be the trend as more copies become available. An interesting talking point surrounding Urted is the effect it had on other synergistic cards. Mirror tribal prices have skyrocketed in price with the anticipation of Commander becoming more popular and increased demand for old cards, including Mirror Turbine and Mirror Matrix, which have only been printed once before. With the buyouts, these have jumped to an all-time high of $30 from $3. Wow. So the Turbine has gone up 10x, and the Matrix has also gone up a bunch, and it's all because of Urtet. And and I didn't know that until reading this with you folks here this morning, is that this card has was only going to be released in set boosters and collector boosters, not in one of the two decks. Yeah, makes sense because it's all 5 colors. So they can't just throw it in any commander deck with, unless it's a all color commander. So that's the problem with this card. Now, if you want, it might not be a bad guess that other cards that have seen only a single printing may be targets to buyouts due to synergistic game pieces being printed, but as to which ones may be targeted next is a guessing game until the speculation reignites the trend. And that's my favorite game, the speculation game. Ha! All right. In conclusion, the impact of the new Commander set brings both new playable cards for participants while also creating a window for much needed reprints in the future. This set has inspired conversations regarding the poison counters and how they perform in a larger metagame, and draw attention to how new commanders can have a warping effect on older sought after cards. While the deck may not appeal to everyone to acquire, that is the mirror deck, there are enough valuable single prints here to entice players. Now, for myself, if I'm holding a bunch of these staple mirror support cards from when I opened them, I would be more likely to get it and want to build with it rather than having to buy them all at these inflated prices. But that's just the way Magic works. It's like that delayed gratification. You can't have all the game pieces at once. They print cards that go with that pair with other cards later on down the road. So this tummy tantrum, I want all the, I want all the game pieces all in one box, doesn't really work in Magic. That's one thing that's special about the game. So now we want to say thanks to Matt Gretchnik for this awesome article. He started playing Magic in Dragon's Mage, and since then he's tried an experiment with mostly all formats and discovering EDH and Pauper, piloting the same deck for the last 10 years. He now tries to understand and break Sealed as a format. So thanks, Matt Gretchnik, for that article. I really appreciate it. And if you look at this, like the mirror support cards that are moving up quite quite aggressively now. We're just going to make a little camera adjustment. So yeah, if you look at the mirror support cards that are moving now with the release of Urtet, it's like moments out into the future that this card is going to be released, but it's already having an immediate impact, and that's what it does. Like people are like, hey, do you have do you have any of these mirror support cards? Do I have any in my collection? Like, where are they? I want to get the fun into my collection. Now here's something for you folks to consider. Now, Pause Brown, good morning, buddy. Pause, thanks for coming here. Oh, I gotta just clean myself up a little bit. Do I look okay? Pause is here. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining the show here this morning. Angers Collections is in the house. Got all the big boys showing up here. Amazing fans of Magic the Gathering. You love the game as much as we do. Thanks for dropping in on us here this morning just to say hello. We're anticipating the Hasbro earnings report to come out today, and between now and tomorrow is a good time to sit and watch the news and see what's going to happen. So if you want what I was saying is, so what does all this mean, Brody? I guess that's why you've tuned in. You've come to ask the question. Do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Does it look like there's too much information out there? Is there enough information? Are you getting bad information? Is there wrong information? Are you looking in the wrong spots? Let me do it for you. I'm checking the prices every morning, getting feedback from you folks, the viewers. But consider this. So here, let's just create a scenario, because I just want to, before we look at some AI generated Magic cards here this morning. Uh, let me just put this to you. Now, there's like this. What Wizards has done is that I'm going to give you another example. They've trapped players into this mindset, and I want you to just open your mind just a little bit with me here today and consider this. This is one thing we get to do here. This is why the show is so amazing. Is we get to interact with each other, we get to talk to each other, we get to share our opinions. When I screw up math and become an amateur, you're always there to let me know that, hey, Brody, you're off a decimal point. But just let's open our minds together for a little bit. All are welcome here on the show. If you want to share your opinion, please leave it in the comment section. But let's consider this. Wizards has everybody trapped in this mentality that print run, right? Print runs. It's all about the print runs. Let me put it to you this way. This Kickstarter mentality that's going around. All right. So this is a box of Magic cards I have here in my hands. This is it's a box of Magic. It doesn't really matter what it is, but the concept of exactly this. Let's take the beanbag chair as an example because it's a good one. I can go to any deck list. I can kickstart any product that I want. All right. So I can kickstart any product that I want, but I have to wait for it. Like, look at the substitute teacher. Like, he kickstarted a product and then like it's sold out and people are still waiting for it, right? Is it any like longer than you would want to wait for something? Or if people are impatient at this point in the game. Dual brains in the house. It's weirdly warm outside. So let's just open our minds and consider that Wizards has got everybody convinced that there's a printing company that makes this product for them. They just design it and then like it gets printed and then there's a print run that you can't know, and it's this information that they will withhold from everybody as far as print runs to make a product seem scarce or however they want it to appear. Like there's only so much that we can get, but really depends on the product now, doesn't it? Do they like, what if we could get, now let's just where do players go now? People are like, yes, we have control, they're listening to the players and we're not buying the products and we're pushing the stock price and they're going to listen to us. But what do you want? You can't be outside licking the windows at WotC and saying, hey, we want They're just gonna be like, ignore the crazy people outside. They're gonna label us, just like just like just with something, right? Because they're like, those window lickers over there protesting, saying that, you know, Hasbro stock's going down. What if the company was put into a position where they had to go more to a Kickstarter model, where, like, for example, I can upload any art I want and get it put on sleeves at a sleeve make printing company. I can upload any art I want and send it to a shirt printing company, right? I can upload this art graphic and send it off to a shirt printing company and say, I'll take 50, right? So what if players, some with out of all of this, if Wizards of the Coast were to be put into position where it was a true print to demand, not this, like, they've trapped us in this mentality that this is the way it works, like a sealed box, it gets, there's so many printed and then they go on the shelf and then they don't print them again, and then that's it, and then they go on to the next product. But what if they were forced to be put into a situation where it was more like the beanbag chair or the sleeves, that they only printed what was sold, right? Like, why isn't it working that way? That is something reasonable that people could ask for. And if the product isn't good, and they're, it's just not going to happen, right? So you could, so we were all tricked into thinking that this is how it works, and there's no reason that can't be changed. So if you want to talk about reprinting the reserve list or any of these, if you want to talk about an unlofty ask of Wizards of the Coast to fix the game, that is the presupposition that the game of Magic the Gathering has got everybody already tricked into, that printing is an outside, it's an outside source, it's an outside force, it's something they don't have control of. It all they do is send the cards to the printer, and then, like, once the printing run is done, they move on to the next set. There's no going backsies. But if it was more of a Kickstarter approach to Magic, where people would actually have to, like, look at what's going on with, like, they can do it with a festival in a box, right? Why can't we do it with regular card print runs? What would that do for the game? Would that put the shoe on the feet of the players, because the players would have a little bit too much control? Who knows? But it's something just to keep in mind and to open your mind up. Now, I would like to thank you all for joining us here this morning, and I know your time is valuable. So we're going to get right on into the next leg of the race here this morning. Just take a quick look to see. Value is value, bro. Yeah, buddy. 100%. I think I'm near 5K myself, mostly modernizing one lands and blood artists. Being buy listing every night till I sleep and making lists so that I know how much value to expect. Got to go live someday. Philly prep all day. Mr. Dual Brain, how you doing, buddy? Dual Brain's in the house. Good morning. Great turnout last night over the Twiddler show. I'm looking okay. Thanks, Twiz. Some stuff that'll be printed as well, like Anointed Procession. Are you buy listing Anointed Procession in these times? Interesting, interesting. Well, I know you're, speaking of times, we switched things up just a little bit here this morning. We're going to take a look at some AI generated Magic cards, just a couple of them. If there's any, and I want you to know, anybody tuning in, because this is a fun part of the show. Usually we do it first, but we're going to do it later because I know there's more of you tuning in. So this is the way it works. Your time is important to me. I don't want to waste it. I know you've got things to do. You've busy people. So if there's any gibberish on the card, we fail it right away. Get it out of here. There's no time for that on the show. This is a serious show. We talk about real topics that matter. And we've got the top, top percentage of highest quality viewers and fans of Magic the Gathering that tune in. All 205 of you folks, the highest quality viewers in the game. Thank you for tuning in. So we don't want to waste your time. If there's any gibberish on the card, we fail it right away. If it's at all playable, it's reasonable, even if it's overcosted and maybe a little bit inefficient, we got to give it a pass. Unless you guys, you know, honestly, Brody derps and misread something. But just check this out: Zentic Charm. All right, this is a looks like a land card that taps for a waste or colorless. Two and tap it. Target creature becomes the color of or colors of your choice until end of turn. Wow, what do you think of this card? I wish MTG Gaming Bob would show up to the show because I know how much he likes these AI generated magic cards. But let's check this out. I think we got to give this card a pass. This is a decent card. Why not? Is my dinger working? Oh, the dinger is down. Oh, wait. Ah, the dinger is working. Good. Let's give it a pass. All right, we can give it a pass. Zentic Charm. This would be nice. 2 mana and tap it. Target creature becomes the color of your choice until end of turn. Seems fine. Seems like you could put this. Speaking of mothers, it's like speaking of mothers, Mother of Runes. You could use this. You could turn something into the color of your choice until end of turn. Then you can mother. You could turn your opponent's stuff into the color of your choice. Then you could give it protection from those colors. I think this card is fine. It seems okay. Yeah, let's give it a pass. Here's some art off the card. Okay, this is an X AI generated magic card. This would be a good one here for you folks. Thanks for tuning in. What do we got here? Aglisave. Aglisave. 3 mana artifact. Taps for a colorless. Whenever a player casts a spell, counter that opponent. It's got to go. No. You can't counter an opponent. We've got to punish the AI here for getting out of control this morning. I got to add a little chat to this. I got to add a little chat here. Good morning, bro. D, the dual brain is in the house today. What do you think of this one here? The Aglislav. Can't do it. Nope. Okay, what about this one? This is a big 0-5, right? What do you got here? This is the Pirimogar? Man, this is a counter your opponent. I know you can't counter your opponent. Doesn't work. Turn all the green creatures green, then cast Perish, right? Turn all creatures green, then cast Perish. Yes. Huge sunny day for yesterday. 10 subscribers yesterday. Nice. That's awesome. People have been trickling in, and it's great. I can't help but think it's you folks that make this show amazing. People want to hang out and talk magic cards in the morning. I'm here doing it every day, and I appreciate you folks anyway. Here's a card, Perigamor. It's made in green. It's 2 green and 7 for the 0-5. It enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each other creature you control. Then, when Perigamor enters the battlefield, tap all creatures your opponents control. Whenever you cast a spell, add double. Colorless? Wow. Give me some Perigamor. I mean, come on. Why not? This seems okay. It seems busted. Wow. Turn all creatures green. Cast Perish. I'm keeping my doubling season full art foil as well. The art is so beautiful. I am trying. I'm going to get my 2. Pause says he's going to get his 2. His modernizing his two foil force of will graded because he wants to. Nice. Richie Dubs in the house. Did you bring your mustache? I'm just wondering. I hope you did. We're checking out Perigamor. We got this card. It's a 0-5. It enters with a 1/1 counter for each creature control. When it enters, it taps all your opponent's creatures. I think it's just good. I think it's good. What do you think, Richie Dubs? We can use this somewhere. Look at these straw men. It looks like it's a scarecrow. Of course it is. Ah, pretty sweet. Perigamor. Hopefully he just doesn't have any Perigamortis setting in. Need a you need a doubling season? Who doesn't? Richie Dubs, the dub. Perigamor. Counter target opponent. What else we got here? And then this card. I love this card. Dragon News Whiffinies. This was where we left off yesterday. 10 away from 1,200 subscribers. Super hyped. Way to go, Pause. You're rocking, man. You big boy. Nice work. Nice work. Keep it going, man. I love the show. It's very positive over there. I'm glad to see you here. It's nice to have you join in with me this morning in the morning show. I like this card. We looked at it yesterday. Dragon News Whiffinies. It's worth another shot. It's cute. It's got a little Minecrafty kind of a vegetable-y guy on it. A zombie creature with 2/4. Power less than Dragon News Whiffinies. So the Dragon News Whiffinies. I just like the saying. I want to build a deck with this. It's just it sounds cool. Legendary creature zombie 2/4 creatures with power less than Dragon News. Power can cost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you can pay a red and a green and 2 and return Dragon News from your graveyard to your hand. The Shrub Toad, right? Looks like something Kirby fought. Totally, it looks like a Kirby card. Ah, you're the best, Pause. Thank you for sharing. All are welcome here on the channel. Appreciate your opinions. It's not the daily high-low. It's not the daily up and down. This is the morning stocks and magic talks with Brody. We're taking a look. We're taking a look at some magic cards here for you folks, and I really want to impress upon thine viewers and fellow brethren the importance and the crastitude of the unmitigated, momentous, gratuitous, hopeful for the future that I would like to express to each and every one of you viewers. Since Tom Mitchell is in the house today, since Mr. T.O.M. Mitchell, Tom Mitchell's in the house chasing that mouse. Tom, give us, where are we gonna run that list? The movers and the shakers is up again. Like yesterday it was down. Folks over at Goldfish put a wrench in the wheels yesterday, but we still had a good time and it's fine. We're live and it's all right. Let's do the movers and the shakers list real quick here this morning. It's Brody. I'm gonna be on just for a few more. I got time to do it. Come on, folks. Tom Mitchell, let me know, what do you want to run this? What do we want to run in the list? The all list this morning. We want to look at Phyrexia all will be one. Signals. You want to look at standard, modern, pioneer, pauper, legacy, or vintage? Let me know in the comment section below. We can't roll until you say so. Robert O'Brien. Robert wants modern. Tom, can we do the modern list? Let's do it. Come on, let's go. Robert O'Brien's in the house all the way from K-Town. Give my buddy Gary Garanjotter, Super Garanjotter, a high fiver the next time you see him. Oh, you ordered the blank cards. Thank you so. I haven't had any time, or I haven't ordered anything. Hence, there's been no opening videos here. I haven't done any ordering, any opening. Work has been crazy. It's insane. Modern. Tom says we're good to go with modern. Let's do it, Robert. Let's do it, Tom. Everybody's tuning in. Let's go with the movers and the shaker. Are you moving in your seat? Are you shaking with the beat? It's time with me, Brody, here on the morning show. UC. All right, let's just get things rolling here this morning. We're going to do the modern list for you folks. Love it. We're going to get a little bit of a chuckle, a groove. Do you mind the music? I can turn it down. Let's blast off this morning. Top of the list, Sword of Justice and Truth. Wow, this is the proliferating one. 19%. If you want to go up on the Sword of Justice and Truth, it's outclass Githrix here this morning. Like, do you like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Is there too much information out there, or is there just the right information? Is there just the right amount of information out there? Sword of Truth and Justice up 20%. I believe this is the one that proliferates. Let's check it out. $34 for these swords. You know, the funny thing is like, and I was kind of skeptical about the swords. Like when I first started playing, and people are like, they're good in Commander. If you open a sword in any set, whether it's Modern Horizons, Double Masters, they're all, I think, worth money. They're all good, right? Just for simply what they do. And there can always be another sword printed, right? Michael Superbacker's in the house. Good morning, Michael. Thanks for joining. Thanks for being here today. We're checking out the Sword of Truth and Justice. This is the one that says equipped creature gets +2/+2, has pro blue and pro white. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature on a creature you control, then proliferate any number of creatures, permanents, or players. Give each one a counter of that kind. This is the proliferatrix of all. Yes, a lot of counters. Get to the store, clean out your fishbowl. You're going to need a lot of counters in this new modern metagame. I'm not even kidding you. Just bought Card Kingdom's remaining Skithrex, Solemnity, and Elmira. Really? You bought the Skithrex there, Benson? Okay. And a Solemnity and Elmira. Wow. Modern, please. It's good. I'm glad. Lurk away, my friend. Lurk away. Sword of Truth and Justice. Got to be in the Atraxa build, right? Everybody's going Atraxa. What's the attraction? What's the attraction? Atraxa? The proliferate. We just want to put counters on stuff. It's that time, right? Why not? Atraxa, Ixhel, the Scion of Atraxa, Azuri, Stalker of Spheres, and Tahuli. Vorin collects the Monstrous Raider. Here's like reprint equity in good old Kaldheim, if you ever seen it. This card's moving up. Sword of Truth and Justice taken over from Skithrex. On the loser's side, number one loser is Urza. He's sort of fallen out of favor. Why? Poor Urza. Skithrex. The Blight Dragon. You just picked this one up. Benson just picked himself up a copy of the Skithrex. $43. Like, sorry, I have a hard time, unless I really wanted to play it. This is a really cool card, though. Scars of Miriton version, also printed in Double Masters. This is a $43, 75-cent Dragoon. Of course, Atraxa. Is Atraxa just the whole meta right now? I think it is. It seems to be the most popular deck. Super popular. Next up on the list, we got, what do we got? Number 3, Elvish Norn Grand Cenobite. You know, when we were doing the short yesterday, I thought I was going to use this one in the Mother of Machines, but then the Mother of Ruins was just a better option. We talked about this card already, so unless you want to talk about it, I'm going to go right to Inexorable Tide. This card is moving up, and this is why. It's 2 blue and it's 3, and it's an enchantment. It says whenever you cast a spell, proliferate. It's a card from the Master set in 2015 that wasn't so good, but now that we're proliferating, I just can't help but say that Karn's Bastion was the tip of the iceberg for all of this. Urza's going to be okay. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Might be a time to pick up Urza, because if it's not anything to do with Atraxa, it doesn't seem like anybody wants it. Jace the Mind Sculptor? Holy smokes. And okay, so let's take a look at Craterhoof. This is another card that sees a lot of dough, fetches a beastie price. It's $29 for the cheapest one. You can get it for $42. 2017 version. I want to open one. I'm like, this and Tarmogoyf is a card that I just would love to open. You can get the child's drawing version of it. This one is pretty great. I would want to run this one because it's the most intimidating. Of course it is. Craterhoof Behemoth, seen a tick up in price. It's played in Elves, and it's good anywhere that you're playing creatures in Modern, and it's also pretty popular in Commander. Not as though it would be your Commander, but it's played with Lathril, the Blade of Elves. The Coffee Show. Urza is going to be okay. Thank gosh. So the Craterhoof Behemoth rounding up and hitting the movers and the shakers again, up 3 points today. But the Sword of Truth and Justice sort of taking the biggest The biggest jump up. JTMS, the original from World Wake. This thing was $200. Holy smokes. Like, check this out. Wow. Jace's fall from grace, but when are they gonna? Here's one for you. They're gonna unban Umezawa's Jitte. When do they unban Umezawa's Jitte? Tell me this. When do we unban Umezawa's Jitte? 3 times. That's a pickup, right? If they unbanned Jace and they unbanned the Stoneforge Mystic, like the Jitte, is that gonna get unbanned too? It seems like with the power creep, like look at this. Jace has hit an all-time low. Jace has got to be. Is he just moved up a bunch or what? Jace. $47.57 for Jace the Mind Sculptor. I'd say this is probably a pickup right now. I know he's like, they've said he's on the movers and shakers list, and that is like, holy smokes. But if you want to get yourself an original, how much was it? $150 US. This was a $150 bill not that long ago. It's 30%. It's 30% of what it used to cost. Wow. The format, I could read it for you, but I think you all know what he does. 2 blue and 2 for this original Planeswalker. And this was a card that, like, I missed this card. I didn't play during World Week, and I played before it, but I wasn't playing during this set. So when I came back and stepped back into the game, everybody talked about Jace and how it was great, but it's banned. So I never did get to play with Jace the Mind Sculptor when it was legal until it became unbanned, and that became a very exciting venture for me in the world of Magic the Gathering. Did you play when Jace was legal and then banned and now he's legal again? But you've seen this price go up and down a couple of times. He was in a From the Vault set. He was also in a couple of reprints here, I think, but this is the original World Wig. Yeah, From the Vault 20. There's a secret layer. Of course, there's a secret layer. There's a secret layer for absolutely everything. We got Double Masters, Jace, Ravnica Masterpieces, and everything else. But this was sort of like the Liliana the Veil, like the original Innistrad one. Like this World Wake Jace is the original. It's $47. They got them at the vendor store. There's 8 excellent edition. I would go for the near mint copy if you wanted to get yourself a copy of Jace, the Mind Sculptor, the original one from World Wake. If you're not holding one, I would say, even though he's on the movers and the shakers list, that's a time to pick one up. 9th edition Coat of Arms. Oh my jaboozy. I gotta check this card out. $20. Coat of Arms, gotta remember what it does. Is this just an anthem? I have seen Jace played twice before. Heard it used to be worth a lot, right? Yeah, it used to be worth a ton. I saw Eternal Masters Jace foil for $45, so I made the video, right? $45. He's outclassed in modern. You know what? I'm feeling outclassed, Richie Dubs. God, I don't want to be a Magic player no more. Jace is outclassed. Jace got all funny looking, and I don't know. He just doesn't get out. He's just not Jace anymore. But he's outclassed. Oh, made a whole video of Jace falling to $40. I got to check it out. That's a pickup, isn't it? There, brain. I'd say. Okay, I'm going to check out let's check out the dual brain video on Jace, the fall from grace of Jace the Mind Sculpture, and we'll check out this Coat of Arms. This 5-mana artifact is 1852. In 1852, Coat of Arms sailed the ocean blue with me and the crew and the pain and the suffering and dual brain and Richie Dubs. We're all here along for the ride. Hasbro earnings day today, folks. It's coming out. So today, between now and tomorrow's morning show, there's going to be a whole lot of videos made out there on YouTube. Brody's there right at the front at first on race day. Brody's there. We're waiting for news to come out. We're expecting a price to drop. Wild Nicodle was once banned too in Modern. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Hold my cookie. OMG. That's a great artifact. Oh my gosh, right? Pause Brown. This anthem says each creature gets 1/1 for each other creature on the battlefield that shares at least one creature type with it. For example, 2 Goblin Warriors and a Goblin Shaman on the battlefield each gets +2/+2. What about Changelings? Murray Cooper, are you running Coat of Arms in Changelings? I gotta know. They'll reprint it again. Dual Brain says they're going to reprint stuff again. They always reprint stuff. They always reprint. Always reprint. We always wash, rinse, reprint, wash, rinse, and reprint. Okay, where are decks using it? Anything tribal. Changelings especially would be really good because for each creature anthems for each creature of its own type that it's on there. Krenko Mob Boss, of course, for goblins. Edgar Markov, of course, for vampirogies. Vampirogies? Get yourself some vampirogies. Maronar, what are they making with this? Is this rats? There's gotta be rats. Maronar, yeah, rats, right? The sun never sets. Maronar, legendary rat rogue. All rats have fear. Sack a rat, put a 1/1 rat token onto play where 1 is the X is the number of rats you control. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat like that. Never hesitate to put Hasbro on its back. Let's see. We got Maronator, Rin and Seri. Oh, for the doggy and cats. Yes, this is where I would want to play it. It's the cutest one. Karumanix, the Rat King. Oh, was he got another Rat King? What's this guy? Has he got a crown at least? No, he doesn't have a crown. He needs a crown. He's not kingy enough for me. I want to see a scepter, a throne, a rat, and a crown. This has none of that. I'm sorry. Not for me. First Sliver, Lathril, the Blade of Elves, Urtet. Of course, Urtet. People are playing it in mirrors. Why not? Contagion Engine. This is the proliferation station. This thing is seeing waves again. Out of all this stuff, like the goings up is incredible. And the Gemstone Caverns, this is the card. Why is this card? Wait a second. Wait a second. Is this card moving up Gemstone Caverns? Here's a pet card of Brody's, okay? Here's a pet card of Brody's that I love to play. And I people scream at me when I bring this to competitive events in the turns deck, and they slap me and they say, Brody, take this polycock garbage out of your deck. Take this shenanigans out of your deck. What are you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to steal the draw. I'm trying to steal the play. Right? But like maybe is it good with prolif? Why does this thing keep going up? 52.95. The foil version's over 100. It's gotta be. It's like a $150. $150 for the full 50. $459 for the Time Spiral foil. This thing just keeps on going. Wow. And I'll tell you a little story about this. As sad as it goes, when I was buying my Time Spiral Gemstone Caverns, and I was buying Gemstone Caverns from Time Spiral, I was buying them, and I can look back. I was paying for the regular one. I was paying about 20 something bucks, maybe $40. And I was looking at the foil thinking I should buy it. And I'm like, nah, I'm not going to buy the foil. It's overpriced. It was like $100, $150, $100. And I didn't buy it. It might have been under 100. Long story short is I made the argument to myself that I could buy a foil playset for just about a non-foil playset for just about the cost of one foil. So I just went with the non-foils. And now I see the foil multiplier for Gemstone Caverns is absolutely insane. And when I say that foil multiplier, I mean like the how many times more the foil version is worth than the non. This is 10. It's 10 times more expensive. I'd have done far better just to pick off one copy of the foil Gemstone Caverns rather than a playset of non-foil, but nevertheless, you can't go back. But I do want to share those stories with you folks just so you guys can, understand that it's not all rainbows and gemstone caverns over here sometimes, and it's not like I did bad on the gemstone caverns. It's just that I didn't expect the foil one to be worth so much. So now with proliferate, maybe that's good. And if there's going to be a way to move this luck counter onto something else, like are we proliferating with it? Like somebody knows something. Okay, if there's another card in the game printed, it's just like the Magosi. Now look back a little while ago, I did a Magosi of the water ball buy out about a dozen copies and even one foil because I could only find one. Right. And then all of a sudden this Aeon, I'm like, they're going to make another Aeon counter. They're going to one day. And people are like, Brody, they're not going to make another Aeon counter. Like it's a one-time thing. And I don't think there's anything else in the game that makes luck counters like this does, but maybe it's going to go the road to Mogosia. Maybe I shouldn't sell this. I don't know. Maybe this is why it's going up. Is there going to be another card printed with it? If there ever is another card printed with a luck counter to activate it, this card is even going to be more expensive. And with the way to proliferate it and move counters around now, nesting grounds and all these other shenanigans, I just let me know in the comment section. Is there anything else that takes a luck counter? I want to know. I do want to know. I'd love to know. And then inexorable tide. What this thing? What had it's on there twice? Twice. Inexorable tide. This is inexorable. Unbelievable. The inexorable tide. All the tides are turning. It's good in combo decks. It can go off a turn early. MTG Vampires. Oh, yeah. Next day they reprint it. It'll be like the last reprint. It'll hurt it. Arabian Nights. Picked up an Arabian Nights Waluli Wolf. You want a card off the bottom 10? Benson, is that what you're looking at? Did you already pull the trigger? I know you said to give me a reserve list bottom 10 card that no one cares about. Didgeridoo. Didgeridoo. There's a card no one cares about. Wait till we see a new Angrath. Like, I am telling you, Brody was the guy who talked about Garuk coming back, and everyone thought he was slapped. Brody again. I got slapped for suggesting Garuk was going to come back. But alas, he did. So anything can happen. It really can. You know what time it is, folks? That is time to duck out here for the day and reading the comment section with you folks here. We're checking the price of Hasbro stock. We're waiting. Today is the Hasbro earnings report. It's going to be some news. Hit the refresh button until it happens. I almost guarantee you we're going to have some YouTubers out there. I want to see the Moxman make a video on the Hasbro earnings report. We are really waiting for everything to unfold today here in the trading desk. Thanks for tuning in and joining in with me here this morning. It's great to have you with us here on the morning show. It's Brody. I'm here each and every day checking the prices of Magic cards. Do you like checking the prices of Magic cards? Is there enough information out there, or is there just too much information? If you don't want to take that on yourself, you can always come here. I'm doing it anyway, checking the prices each and every morning with you folks. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to just read a few comments here this morning. Let's roll the comments. Let's roll the Super D chat. The Super Chat. Mark Bance Faye. Holy smokes, we got Mark Bance Faye. Hit you up over on the Moxman channel there. Left you a couple comments. I'm glad you come join us here this morning. It's a fun time. All are welcome here. It's the morning show. Keep up the good work. Thanks, Robert O'Brien. I appreciate you. Today's going to be a big day. The cops are at the door. Keep up doing the good work. Talking about Magic cards. Well, I take it seriously. I get to open my mind and get a little bit of time with you folks. I'm not always right, but we have a good time doing it. We want to get the fun in our collection. It belongs in our collection, not not at the big box store. So we're just hanging out, trying to figure out what's the best way to get some of these high dollar cards into our collection. We want to get the fun into our collection. Didgeridoo gonna go. Hell am I out? Didgeridoo gonna go to the moon now. What else we got? Prime. Thanks for joining us, Dennis. Appreciate you. Should have bought Kukas. What's Kukas? Let me check the Kukas. What? Kukas? No. It's Kukas from Visions? Keeper of Kukas. There's Kukas? Okay, I'm thinking of the Keeper of Kukas. You're talking about the Dijin? The Trampoline? It's reserve list. During your upkeep, if you control at least one Keeper of Kukas, Kukas deal. If you do not control at least one Keeper of Kukas, Kukas deals 3 damage to you and attacks. 1-0 until end of turn. And then there's the Keeper. There's a little goblin. He's got the Pro Rad. Kukas, the Keeper of Kukas, the Goblinese. Oh, the art is so good. It's got, actually, the Kukas has the Keeper of Kukas in the background. Pretty neat card. Ah, that's okay, buddy. It's a reserve list card. Thanks for the great info for all the few Treons. Yes, the free Treons. We have the best viewers. The top, you know, YouTube only cares about quantity, but on this show here, quality. We get the highest quality fans of Magic the Gathering tuning in. They're all 205 of you folks subscribe to the channel for checking it out. I appreciate each and every one of you. We'll do it all again tomorrow, and I can almost use the G word here. We're gonna see something happen today. We'll be right up front for it. Hasbro earnings come out. Give us a shout. It's your friend, the bro. We'll talk to you all again. Brody's signing off.